Josh, after last game, Billy talked a little bit just about feeling like so much of the playmaking and
Yeah.
ball handling has to go on you because of injuries right now.
Yeah.
How are you feeling kind of that burden in game?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, my body feels good. I feel healthy. You obviously, you never want to have guys out and injured. And obviously, we're playing very on demand, but it's not an excuse. I believe we've got enough in this locker room. When we're fully healthy, when we've got guys out to win games. So, obviously, the last probably 2 weeks hasn't been the 2 weeks we've wanted, and obviously, we'd love to have a healthy team, but we've got to deal with it. Kind of the cards we're dealt. So, as I said, I'm fully confident, and we're confident in the guys that we have, and I love taking on that responsibility. Obviously, I would have loved for it to translate to more wins in the last 6 or 7 games. But that's probably the next step for me is how I can, when we've got guys out, will our team to wins. And I think we're right there. It's not like we're getting blown out. I think bar maybe 1 or 2 games, we're right there. Every game is coming at the crunch time, so we got to figure out ways to be better down the stretch. And obviously a lot of that falls on me handling the ball. So I'll continue to get better at that, watch film, and learn how I can improve in that area.
We know that this roster is structured to kind of have two ball handlers on the court at all times, and right now it seems like you have to stagger with you and Io, and then Io might be out. How have you seen kind of defenses change when that secondary ball handler is pulled out?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen different things. I mean, some teams have gone big and switched 4 or 5 pick and rolls with me and Sorry, and other teams, Brooklyn started hitting at half court to try to get it out. So we've seen different coverages, and it's nothing new to us. We've seen a lot of different things, even last year. So we've adapted and learned how to deal with these things. But as I said, I mean, anytime you got guys out injured, it's an opportunity for other guys to step up and play a bigger role. So irrespective of who's playing in the game, we have more than enough. And when I'm off the floor, we've got enough guys that can handle the ball and make plays. So we just got to be confident, make plays, and defenses will adjust accordingly. And I think we have to do the same.
Your usage rate is at a career high. You probably knew that you were going to have a big load on your plate going into this season, but did you expect it to be this heavy?
I mean, you can't predict injury, so it's hard to say. But as I said, I mean, I love the heavy lifting and the heavy responsibility, and I'm not going to call it pressure, but kind of having the weight of a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. I love that, and as I said, I got to try to figure out ways where it can start to translate to wins, because that's number one on the priority list for me and from the group. So. Obviously with the usage rate high, and being a point guard, the usage rate is normally going to be higher than normal. But just trying to figure out ways to make sure everyone around me is elevated, and that's kind of my role. And that's what I want to get better at is finding ways to get other guys involved early and get other guys feeling good about themselves. So when it comes to the third or fourth quarter, these guys are involved, they've had the ball, they've seen a few easy ones go down, where that confidence grows as the game goes on. So as I said, I mean, the responsibility is obviously big, especially bigger with guys going out, but I love it, and I've got to find ways to continue to get everyone involved.
I don't want to jinx anything, but you're also at a career high three-point percentage at a career high volume.
Yeah.
It was pretty clear how much work you put into that for the second half of last season, and then you told us in the off season too. Are you at a point now where you feel like you're just a good three-point shooter, and like all that other stuff is in the past?
Yeah, no, I do, and I think a lot of that comes with work, and a lot of it for me was mental. Early on, teams would put fives on me and kind of dare me to shoot it, and that really messes with your confidence, because it's like you have to make it to keep them honest, and if you miss it, they're just going to keep leaving you open. So I struggled with it for a while, and obviously it was pretty well documented when I was in OKC, especially with the team that we had, where teams would kind of dare me to shoot it, and I made a promise to myself, after that season that that was never going to happen again. And I spent a lot of time in the gym getting shots up, getting reps, and I think I'm at a point now where confidence-wise, I can miss 3, 4, 5 in a row and it doesn't affect me. I shoot the 6th one like I've made them all. So mentally, I'm at a really good point with shooting the ball, and I think a lot of it comes with reps and practice in the summer.
You had that one deep one in Orlando that you made, and then another one similar to it that you missed, and you chased down the rebound. Is your range further? I know you're mostly going to shoot closer to the line, but do you feel like your range is extended out?
I mean, I think a lot of that comes with strength. It comes with strength and reps, and I don't shoot a lot of crazy threes. I tend to take good ones. Catch shoot when they're open. Team goes under, and I'm feeling good. Set my feet and let it fly. But I kind of only shoot it that deep when I have to, if the clock's running down, or if it's a blown possession or something like that. But yeah, a lot of it for me was confidence and taking good looks, and from there, that's where I've kind of seen my shooting progress.
Last one for me. You've mentioned that you guys are going through kind of a rough stretch, obviously. Does it feel like everyone's still kind of connected and locked in at film sessions, shoot-arounds, practices?
Yeah, I feel like it's more so than ever. I feel like it's more so than when we were winning. And this is the part where it's easy, you start losing some, and it's easy for guys to kind of splinter and go their own way and separate from the team. But, credit to the group. Coaches have kept us together. We've kept ourselves together. So, no, I feel really confident about this team. And obviously, we started hot. We've kind of slowed down a little bit. So, I feel like one win is all we need just to get back on the right track. And as I said, obviously having bodies and guys healthy would be a big bonus. But it's the NBA; everyone deals with injuries, so we've got to find ways to win games. And as I said, it's not like we've been getting, we've blown out. Miami got blown out. The Brooklyn game was kind of over early, but these other games have all come down to the last 2 or 3 minutes. So we've got to find ways to execute down the stretch. And I think we clean up a few small things and we give ourselves a chance to win those games, and we're in a much better position. So I'm confident with where we're at.
Josh, you mentioned that you guys are, right there. What do you need to do to turn those close losses into close wins? Really just flip the other side of the stretch.
I think it all comes down to the fourth quarter execution. I think rebounding has killed us down the stretch. Teams, the last couple minutes, teams get desperate and they start sending 5 guys, and we just haven't boxed out the way we needed to. And myself included in that boat, we've given up too many O boards and it leads to dagger threes and putbacks, and it just kills your momentum. So defensively, we've got to do a lot better job defensive rebounding, and then offensively, we just got to start getting into sets and getting into things. I think we start to change the way we play when the game gets close down the stretch, and a lot of that's probably on me. I've got to get us better organized in those last 2-3 minutes, and so we can get good looks, and we can live or die by good shots. And whether you make or miss them, it's going to vary on different nights. But just being able to leave the game saying we did all the right things, and whether you win or lose, you can kind of live with that. So. But we've lost a lot of games where we just haven't executed both sides of the ball, and that's a sour feeling to have because it's in your control. So I think once we flip that, we'll be a lot better down the stretch.
Josh, one of the statistical anomalies of this team is you guys take a really high rate of shots in the restricted area, but the completion rate in there is incredibly low in comparison to the rest of the league. You guys get blocked a lot there too. What are you kind of seeing from your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of that is taking tough ones. Like we get to the paint more than any other team in the league. It's just the shots we're taking in the paint, and myself, as I said, included in this boat, probably picking the ball up too early. We leave out feet, so it's kind of forcing us to take tough contested ones, or we're looking to pass out of the air, so that can lead to turnovers as well. So a lot of that's probably me that I'm describing there, but just using our extra dribbles, getting deeper into play, playing off 2 feet, I think can solve a lot of problems there. But yeah, I mean, we get there a lot. It's just making better decisions once we get there.
Another piece of that is dunk rate. You guys aren't kind of taking or finishing a lot of dunks in that area. How do you think that maybe this team could play a little bit more on the rim?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that can be personnel based. We don't have like the typical high flying 5 minute some other teams doing, and that's okay. We find other ways to score, but I think, especially with guys like Martis and Jew, when they get downhill, they're probably the guys that need to go and start dunking. And dunks lead to fouls. Guys are more prone to foul when you go up for a dunk. So it's hard for me to speak on it because I don't ever dunk, so I don't really know what it feels like. But these athletes, I mean, obviously we want them finishing at the rim, and I think going in strong trying to dunk can result in more fouls for them.
You had one in Orlando, didn't you?
Yeah, I had 2 the other night, but they were both wide open. But I'm not flying down the lane dunking on anyone, so yeah, maybe.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
Thanks, guys.